All right, guys. Welcome to the second edition of the Fourth and Drunk Fantasy League podcast. I don't know. We did one in August before last year, recapping the year before. Expected to kind of do a little more often, wanted to, but timing and all that shit just didn't work out. So here we are, March 8th. Trying to recap the year before. Hopefully, get some more podcasts in. But I don't know. Kurt and I like talking about this stuff. I'm sure you guys do too. I mean, hell, it's March. Most people aren't even thinking fantasy, but we're a couple fantasy nerds, so
Getting the edge.
yeah, like talking about it, like going over it. Hopefully, you guys like it. Let us know. Definitely trying to build this as much as we can. But hey, we get it. Like, people have lives and kids and stuff, and you might not be into fantasy as much as we are. Some of us have 2, 3, 4 leagues, so
True.
it is what it is. But anyway, I figured we'd start with the most important part, right? Like, who finished first? So obviously, Mr. JL, Julian Lee Mason, this guy over here, he did it big this year. He got first place, just first in the regular season, just mowed through the playoffs.
He had Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase.
Enough said, right? Like that combo was lethal. But yeah, hell yeah, JL. Miss you, brother. Good year this year. So shout out to you. Second place, Kurt's boy from the PNW, Dustin. Hold it down. What'd you finish, Dustin? 5th or 6th in the regular season, and made the run that we all want to make in the playoffs, and made that championship game. Got second place. So hell yeah! Hopefully that chunk of change worked out for you. A good year. And then Scranton, Hayden coming up. From the last place in. Me and him were fighting for that 6th spot, and he got it and got all the way up to 3rd. So shout out to you, Hayden, in just your 3rd year in the league. So. Yeah. I mean, it was a fun year, guys. Fun playoffs. Figured we'd go through and kind of recap the year, see, how the playoffs went, regular season, just the trash that we drafted, how many moves we made. Just try to keep it, 45 minutes or an hour, just whatever. Just get to talking. But yeah, what do you got, Kurt? You got anything?
Oh, really? Let's go through playoffs first.
Okay.
Let's go through JL absolutely running through the league at 10-4, getting a first round bye. Must be nice. Attaboy JL. The second bye goes to Waverhawk.
Yeah, Chet coming through, new to the league this year.
Scored a lot of points.
Yeah.
So good job with the bye there, boys. But we're gonna start off, I guess, with the first quarterfinal matchup, which was Play Better and Ewok and Friends. It wasn't much of a matchup. We'll put it that way. It was a beating. It was I was done by Thursday. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Dustin put the whooping on me, 149-70. That is a real score.
It dropped 70 points in the playoffs. Like,
I don't want to talk about it. We're gonna move on. Move on.
All right, yeah. Shout out, Dustin. That's a hell of a way to start the first round, dropping 150. I mean, you would have beaten anybody that week, and
you didn't even have to watch on Sunday
yeah.
or Monday.
Yeah.
So we'll move on to the second quarterfinal matchup, which was.
Yeah, Jameson, Susan B. Anthony Richardson, love the name there, and Hayden. Hayden pulled it out, 8-point victory. I mean, pretty close, a little less than 8 points in a quarterfinal of the playoffs. So Hayden advanced on that one. Had a good showing by his team. The next week because with the 2 byes, that's the only 2 matchups first round. So next week he moved on to play the number 2 seed, Waverhawk Chet. And, I mean, kept up with it. Got 131 the first week. Second week, he dropped 150. Oh, shit. No, I got moved over here. The bracket moved around on me.
No, he lost to
Yeah, he
Dustin.
lost. Yeah.
Good week by both of them, though. I mean, 138's nothing to sneeze at.
Well, I mixed the teams up. So he actually moved up, and he played JL. See, if you're looking at the bracket, Scranton Stranglers did. Now I was talking about Hayden. So, yeah, I mean, the second round was not where you want to be, Hayden. Dropping 91. JL dropped 120. Beat you by a solid 30 points there. And then Ewok and Waverhawk had a damn good matchup in that second round, 138 to 151. So Dustin pulled it out. I mean, that's a hell of a week right there.
Yeah, that's right down the wire.
Yeah, yeah. Then moved on to the finals week, and we'll go to the third place game. Hayden pulled it out. Damn, I didn't realize it was that close. 129.62 to 129.78. Damn, that's crazy. Especially to get that third place, get that trophy, get a little bit of money back.
Yeah.
And then championship game, JL's just team balled out. It just came to show like he did all year, 168.5 to 119. So, yeah. I mean, hell yeah, that was a good playoff bracket. Had a couple good matchups, and then the teams who were supposed to do well did well. I mean, besides Dustin making his run through, the number one seed, we've seen it plenty of times where the number one seed gets knocked out second round. But JL put it up in the second round and definitely dominated in the finals. So
JL's team definitely shows what it's like to draft very, very well. He only made 10 moves all year.
Yeah.
I mean, good night in the morning. You want to talk about drafting people and having them stay healthy and all that.
Yeah. Stars align for sure, but hey.
Take it every time.
Take it every time. every time. Yeah.
Every time you can get it.
So, figure we go over the regular season, or I guess we'd just hit up the final standings, because the regular season, it's not always the same. We had Jackson pulling up the rear here at 3-11. Like, I'm pretty sure the last couple weeks he kind of packed it in. So, not really happy to see that, Jackson. Not only with your team, but make sure you set your lineup every time. That was not good there at the end. But then Doty with his injured reserve, and he's
You're welcome
ninth.
for Josh Jacobs there, by the way. Golly.
Yeah. Oh yeah, y'all made that trade, huh? Alex came in 8th, cursed. He just made he just cursed. He had some bad moves, a little bit of injuries, but just all around. Myself, I came in 7th. Drafted receivers really strong and nothing on running backs, and it bit me, right? As soon as a couple of my receivers either, had some down weeks, or like Godwin, he was a beast and he got hurt. I mean, then I was struggling at receiver and running back. So that's no place you want to be as a manager, struggling in both. So then, who was it? Hayden and I were fighting for that last one. So Hayden got 6th. Dustin came in at 5th, Kurt at 4th, Jameson with 3rd, Chet 2nd, JL 1st. So that's the regular season, right? And then to finish it out, JL got 1st, Dustin 2nd, Scranton 3rd.
It really played out just like it should have.
Pretty much,
honestly.
yeah. I mean, you kind of dropped down and Dustin moved up into your spot. Besides that, it was pretty straight across the board. 7 through 10, after that, I mean, no one setting their bracket or lined up in the consolation bracket, or at least I hope no one is. So
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, good year overall. Good year by JL. Got Kurt out of the championship seat, so that was good. If he would have made a 3-peat, I never would have heard the end of it. So
70.
yeah,
It was just for the last couple of years, that's just what I get. 70.
Right. So I figured we'd go back to the beginning, right? See how the draft turned out, where people made their wrong moves, the right moves. If you're JL, then shit, I'm just gonna copy your draft plan from last year and hope it works for this year. But if you're someone like me, don't fucking copy what I did.
Yeah.
Or Jackson, clearly, because I don't care how many injuries you have. 3-11 is not acceptable.
Right. I know.
So how you want to do it? You want to do it by team or by round? I kind of want to do it both a little.
By round? What do you mean by round?
Like this, where it doesn't matter. Like it's not by team; it's just by first. So Doty started off strong. Had that Christian McCaffrey crush.
Jeez.
And with San Francisco kind of withholding a little information. I mean, he still.
I forgot.
It's 50-50. Some people thought he should have still been 1-1, right? He's a generational running back. And then some people were like, look, he's getting freaking old. He's already hurt before the season even starts. But you took him number 1 overall. No one can blame you for that. But we know how that turned out. So another one that hurt was number 2 overall. Jeremy had number 2 overall. He takes Tyreek Hill. You can't really blame him for that. But damn, what a fall off. If Tua's not there, there's nothing. So
even when Tua was there.
Yeah, true.
It was kind of tough sledding because I just played over the top and he just wasn't the same.
Yeah. going through the rest of the round was pretty chalk. I mean, Justin Jefferson 3. You got him. Jalen Hurts. I mean, Hayden, he likes to reach for his quarterbacks early.
I'm telling you what, that wasn't a reach. With how many touchdowns he snakes from Saquon, and just the rushing touchdown he gets along with the passing touchdowns, that's not a bad pick at all, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I mean, quarterbacks score pretty good in this league, right? With 6-point touchdowns, and if you get that cheat code running quarterback, right, they make up points pretty easy. But in general, you don't really draft a quarterback first round. But hey, who am I to say that you outdid me? You end up getting third place or whatever. So
it's tough when they score 30 points a week.
Yeah. Then I had Amon-Ra St. Brown. Waiver Hawk, Breece Hall, man, I had him in another league, and he should have been good, but Rodgers and the O-line, you can't do that anything with him. He's 23 in the prime of his career, a stud running back, and just didn't do shit. So
Aaron Rodgers screwed him up.
Still, the first round might be Jamar Chase at number 7, right? It didn't look like it at the time, but looking back on it, he's 1-1, right? He should damn near be the number 1 overall pick next year. Depending on your format and stuff, and then
CD struggled.
Yeah, CD was a struggle at number 8.
And he just wasn't the same guy. Dak hurt. Dak sucks. Dak didn't play well. All the above.
Yeah. So, a couple bombs in the first round, but a couple guys that showed out. So I mean, if you were drafting CMC, Tyreek Hill, or Breece Hall, and CeeDee Lamb to a certain extent. You don't feel that didn't set you up for success. Now, some people overcame it, some didn't, but that's not a good way to start. But, hey, it's the first round. You don't really know. You're either going to get your star or you're going to get someone who falls off. There's really no in between. Anybody on this list either finished top 5 or finished rounds below what they should have.
Yeah, you got to guess right on your first round pick or you're kind of screwed. That's looking at the second round. The second round almost went better than the first round, to be honest with you.
Yeah? What do you think? What do you mean?
So, taking Garrett Wilson at number, 11?
Yeah.
With Aaron Rodgers, you thought Garrett Wilson and Aaron Rodgers were going to be you thought they were going to be Devontae, Aaron Rodgers type deal, except with Garrett being a little bit younger. Obviously didn't work out as much. Jonathan Taylor. He could have been in the first round pretty easily. He had a killer bounce back year. Who else? We can go down to your pick at 6 with Mr.
Well, I'm looking at Marvin Harrison just going down the list, right? That's someone with a ton of potential, but it just didn't work out, right? And I drafted him, and so that didn't help. He started off with 2 what he thought was solid receivers, CeeDee Lamb and Marvin Harrison, and either one really panned out. But the steals, second round is where the teams that did the best you can see, right? Like Derrick Henry, we all know what he did this year, and you picked him up in the 4th pick of the second round. Yeah. Puka Nacua should have done that when he was healthy. He did, but then I picked Travis Etienne at number 6 in the second round, and he was a bust, complete.
That could have been the biggest one besides Isaiah.
Yeah,
Isaiah got hurt.
Yeah. I was hating on Kyron Williams. A good year last year, and I just thought he would fall off. 1-year wonder. Not a high pedigree guy, but he did it again. So once again, Hayden had his running back there, and then you getting
I got
Saquon.
Number 18.
Yeah, that's RB1, and getting him into second round, that's pretty legit.
He was the MVP.
Right.
Good.
If he would have been a quarterback, he would have been. But they don't get those running backs even with those numbers. But then Jamar Gibbs, Jeremy, that was a good pick for you. Just nothing else on your team worked out. Isaiah Pacheco, he was doing all right. He just got hurt and then never came back strong. So that hurt. Now we know why he's injured reserved for Doty. Just the first 2 picks, CMC and Pacheco, right? Then he comes around with Achane, who ends up trading. But that was a good pick.
That was a good pick.
Jeremy, once again, Olave. That's kind of tough in a non-PPR, and he got hurt, and David Carr was shit, and then you got Jacobs, which you and him pretty much swapped. So, that was a pretty even trade. Not only in draft status, but kind of what they did. They both were within a few points of each other after the trade. And
Jacobs, you're a hater on Jacobs.
Golly,
I wish I wouldn't have traded him.
I was really hoping Jordan Love would have done better and they just thrown the ball over the field and I ain't worried about Jacobs.
Right.
But
Jacobs gave it to him like 25 times a
game. Yeah, I know. It was opposite. I was wrong. It happens. Drake London, kind of up and down year. He had a good stretch there in the middle for Scranton Stranglers, but
Kirk Cousins killed him.
yeah. And then Debo, I thought I got my good receiver, and he just fell off.
Always hurt.
Yeah. Chet with
Evans.
Mike Evans, that's a
Mr.
good one.
Mr. 1,000.
Yeah, that's a consistent player in the third round right there. Devontae Evans for JL. I mean, I guess that's his one bad draft pick.
That was Devontae was his third receiver by the time it came down to it. I don't even think he played Devontae the last 7 games of the year.
Right,
Because he already had Jamar Chase and Derrick Henry. I mean, golly, he had freaking everybody.
Then the second quarterback goes off the board at the end of round 3, pick 8. Josh Allen picked up. That's a damn good. He carried GG. I know a lot. Kenneth Walker had high hopes for him. He didn't do shit, so that hurt Jameson. Nico Collins would have been a beast if he would have stayed healthy.
Awesome for the first 4 weeks.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that kept Stroud anywhere near afloat. That's son of a
I say we keep going with this for another round or two, and then after that we'll kind of just switch to the teams because nobody wants to hear about what their first pick of round 12 was. So
let's do 4 and 5.
Okay.
Then, so at 4, Ewok got in the first round. He had Travis Kelce. Obviously, that would have been a huge pick if it was with Travis Kelce of 4 years ago.
Right.
But this year, Travis Kelce was not. That whole Kansas City office was kind of, Second pick was Ayuk with Susan B.
Jameson, yeah.
Yeah, with Jameson. Got hurt. Wanted his money. Might as well have the Madden curse on him. Laporta would have been another steal in the 4th round, but they didn't throw him the ball until way later in the year. Cup. There's Joe with his third receiver.
Yeah, and Cup missed a few games, but he still had enough productive games that he was probably a net positive overall. If you would have got him first round or 2, no, but round 4, I mean, you'll take that.
I'll take Cup every
Yeah.
Golly.
Yeah.
Metcalf, hope he gets traded this week. DJ Moore.
Hey, once again, I was piling on receivers, and just have to switch up the strategy. I thought, hey, my third receiver in round 4, I'll be loaded there, and it just didn't work out.
You would have thought Caleb Williams would have just fed him the ball.
Yeah, I mean, who was their quarterback last year?
Caleb Williams.
No, the year before. I'm sorry, DJ Moore. So whoever the random Chicago quarterback was, but I mean, he got him the ball
Justin
more than
Fields.
Fields got him the ball more than freaking
Caleb
Williams.
So
yeah, I mean, it's like, okay, well, if Fields did it, then surely Caleb, but
him or Dunzan, they didn't do it either.
No.
Devontae Smith was a huge pickup in round 4 for
Scranton, Hayden,
with Hayden, because that was huge. I don't want to talk about Tank Dill. That guy, C.J. Stroud, they all suck. Patrick Mahomes going as the third quarterback taken off the board.
Yep.
In round 4, should have been a value pick, but obviously we saw how his season went.
Right.
Stephon Diggs coming in at the last pick of the 4th. He didn't do.
No,
actually, he didn't do.
Injury reserve. There we go. Once again, like he was okay, I guess, the first few weeks, and then done for the year. So I mean, Doty,
he's getting old.
And then Jalen Waddle.
Golly, injured reserve.
Oh yeah.
He played 5 games.
Oh yeah.
When he was in, he was okay.
Yeah.
Second pick of the round 5, Michael Pittman. Richardson kind of screwed that one up. Oh, I gotta talk about my C.J. Stroud in round 5. He's sold. Don't ever pick the quarterbacks that I do in any league, any draft. God, that was bad. Trey McBride coming in at 4, round 5.
That was a hell of a steal.
That was golly. I don't think Kyler threw to anybody else.
Yeah. If you had him in PPR, that was probably tight end 1. But even without, he still.
He has 8 catches a game.
Because I don't even think he got a touchdown till week 8 or 10 or something. Wasn't it pretty far down? But he was still getting 140 yards for a tight end most weeks. And
once he got his first one, he had 8 after that. So.
Yeah, true. And then here I go with another receiver. Theme of the draft here, Malik Neighbors, young baller, and he did okay for the quarterback he had. Clearly he's a talented guy, but
it's the Giants.
I don't know what I was thinking, that's just it had to be, best player available. Had to be BPA. Like, because
You would think
why
they
would I
feed
have
the ball.
gotten my fourth receiver when I hadn't got my second running back? Which, hey, I mean, zero RB theory or
Right.
just whatever you want to throw out there, but
You'd think
yeah.
he'd be one of the guys for the 40-plus touchdowns, receiving.
Yeah.
To get you the +3.
Yeah,
or
the
+6
bomb
or whatever
plays,
it is.
yeah.
He's young, fast, and you'd think they'd feed him too because he's the number 1 pick of their draft, but they didn't.
I mean, look at these next 4 picks. Those are pretty legit, right?
Oh yeah.
Chet, waiver hawk getting Lamar Jackson,
Yeah.
MVP of the league, pretty much. Round 5, pick 6. Like, how did that happen? I mean, you can't really question the ones before him, but I mean, Mahomes in round 4, maybe. But either way, I mean, I should have taken him right before that, and I think I was actually thinking about that, but
I took C.J. Stroud.
so yeah,
Over
Lamar Jackson.
What an idiot.
Woo! Well,
Yeah.
no one's gonna call you to scout future NFL quarterbacks.
I'm
That's for
telling
sure,
you
because
what.
you'll struggle on that. But then I talked about the next 4. Joe Mixon, JL, super huge steal on that one, especially the first 3 quarters of the year.
Dude, he was Adrian Peterson reincarnated.
Yeah.
I don't understand C.J. Stroud and Joe. Just handball off.
Yeah. Pick 7 of round 5. That's a hell of a get, right? Rashad White did good too. Pick 8 of round 5, and then James Cook. How did he slide so far down?
Because he's not that good. I am such a hater on James.
Really?
Cook, and he torched me for 35 each time.
Yeah, I mean he's definitely not a top 5 running back, but he's a top 10. And then Allen takes away some of his touchdowns too, kind of like Hurts. So I see where you're talking about.
I didn't think he caught the ball as well, and this year he caught the ball a lot more. And he's actually a good catcher of the ball, so it's like, okay, I won't hate on him too much now.
Yeah.
Still not picking him next year, but
then Kyler, you rebounded from that Ewok. That was not a good pick. I mean, not a bad pick, but just didn't work out good, I guess is what I mean.
No, Dustin, that pick sucked.
I mean, it's Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray.
All 5 of them.
Yeah.
He can run around, but he can't even stand in the pocket and throw. I mean, they just drafted the best wide receiver on the class last year and couldn't even get him the ball. Which, hey, some of that was on Harrison too. But, all right, I switched over to teams. I mean, we kind of already went through what Doty went through here, man. But let's just read this, right? CMC, Pacheco, Ainge-Chan. It's just right next to it on the team, right next to him. Stephon Diggs, Jalen Waddle, T. Higgins was in and out all year. Amari Cooper wasn't even an NFL player pretty much by the end of the year.
Right.
Went to Cleveland and just fell off.
Didn't catch anything.
Jake Ferguson, I mean, okay, I guess. Caleb Williams, that was not good. Brian Robinson Jr. ended up being a good pick.
Really good.
Kristen Watson, I mean, nothing really. Rashid Shaheed, he would have been good. He's just such a deep shot, right? But then Tua, so that's kind of a struggle at your quarterback there, and then injuries everywhere else.
The best part of your team was your 16 through 19 with your defensive guys.
yeah, you got some good ones, that's for sure, but that shouldn't be the highlight. And we're just going in order, right? Like, so Blumpkin was next, and Jeremy, we know how your team turned out, man. Tyreek Hill, you had Gibbs holding it down, but then nothing else. Olave, Mahomes, Pittman Jr., Kittle was a beast. Aaron Jones was good,
he was
but
when
then
he was healthy. He's hurt for a while too.
But then there's literally no other starters on your team, right?
No.
Singletary, Addison, I guess, had a couple big games. I actually
Addison-
think I lost a game to you, Jackson, because of freaking Addison dropping 30 out of nowhere. Jerome Ford, Cortland Sutton, I guess. Just wasn't there, man. Just not a good draft on that one. Some of it was injury and underperformance, but
Drafting Patrick Mahomes and him just being bad as
yeah, that hurt. I mean, if he would have been Patrick Mahomes, would have been Josh Allen or something. I mean,
Yeah.
you probably would have had 3 more wins, which puts you right there on the playoff line. So,
right.
Cart, you want to talk about your team? I'll let you take this one over.
Not really. Not even a little bit. Not a bad regular season, but I think Justin Jefferson was my number 1 pick. I had to get rid of Tyreek. I had Tyreek for 3 years, so I had to drop him. So I got lucky and got Jefferson. Barkley at my second pick was, I mean, obviously we know how that went.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Josh Jacobs both carried my team.
Yeah.
My next 12 picks were horrible. With Tank Dell got hurt and didn't do shit. Stroud was just terrible. Zamir White, I don't even think he's in the NFL anymore. Xavier Worthy, 9 touchdowns, but not till way later when I had already. I think I traded him or dropped him.
I think you dropped him.
Roma Dunze I dropped, and then I went defensive guys 9, 10, and 11, and 12.
Yeah. Well,
I like to get the good defensive players because they can really turn the tables, on your weeks.
yeah.
And then after that is just bench guys that I drop.
Yeah, and none of them really hit. Like, you hope,
No.
some of those in 15, 16, 17, at least one of those, one of four, right? If you get
Right.
one of four to just, like, hit.
And I thought Aaron
But-
Rodgers would be so much better,
Yeah.
like just as a backup, and he just never panned out. And
I mean, you draft Trey Benson around 15 thinking, okay, well, Connor's like 60 now, right?
Yeah.
He's hurt every year, and then, of course, he goes the whole year and then get hurt a single time.
and scores twice a game.
Yeah.
But he doesn't even give up any playing time to anybody. But yeah, they're even drafting Xavier Worthy for my 7th round and Roma Dunze for my 8th round as my 2 other receivers. Just
Yeah, you're pretty, I mean, you like the young guys, but that's pretty back-to-back rookies, right? Like, they're, like...
oh,
Rome, I didn't see. Xavier, I saw, and clearly Kansas City. I mean, he scored a touchdown first week of the year, right, against
Yeah.
Detroit, but then just didn't.
they don't. Patrick Mahomes just didn't throw him the ball or didn't use him like Tyreek. I don't know. It was weird.
Well, they always talk about Reed's offense and how intricate and hard it is, and how it's hard for a bunch of rookies to learn that. I mean,
Run straight. He's at
Well-
99 speed. Go
yeah,
that way.
But maybe Reed overthinks it. It's like, yeah, okay, well, they know he can run by him, so they're going to play that every time. Let's get all these short routes, and
yeah.
when
Well, they figured
who
it
knows
out
what?
at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So I mean, next year maybe, but golly, my receiving core, my team sucks. Let's move on to Hayden's.
Hayden, all right. Let's see. You squeaked in the playoffs and finished up 3rd. So let's see. Jalen Hurts. All right. I'll
Hurts
still
is
give you a hard
huge.
time about that, but okay. It worked out for you. Kyron. I mean, it's all the drafts, all the picks after that that helped you out, right? Kyron, stud, turned to
Smith.
RB1. Drake London, wide receiver 2. Devontae Smith, another wide receiver 2. Trey McBride, probably tight end 1 or tight end 2 on the year total. McLaurin had some blow up games.
Oh, that's-
Zay Flowers. Actually, in PPR, he would have been really good, but
Yeah.
he actually had a lot better year than I thought. Gus Edwards didn't do anything. Glad McConkey, I remember you got him. That was
guy
a good
got
one.
passed from team to team and landed on JL's team to win.
Really?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you didn't even get to take. He didn't even take advantage of Lad
No, because I had
Okay.
him for a little bit, and then I dropped him, and JL picked him up, and he scored
In
like
this
38.
league?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, he scored 26th in the championship for JL. So dumb.
It's a, I would say that's karma, but I don't think you did anything to deserve that, Hayden. So that's just like bad luck. I
Right.
guess. I don't
Well, he
know.
didn't do much in the beginning. He just
Right. Went for a couple of defensive players early, Crosby and Hutchinson.
Which
would have worked
Hutchinson-
out even better if Hutchinson hadn't got hurt. That
he
was,
was
kind
a
of sad. But
monster to start.
you see,
Here's my pick of the whole entire draft.
right?
Is he got him in the 13th round at 124 pick. Chuba Hubbard. I don't know how that guy scores twice a week and goes for 100 yards on that sorry ass team, but he scored every single week.
Yeah,
That was a
that's
huge
true. As
pick.
of right now, I mean, I don't see how that's not the pick of the draft,
Dude,
right? Like,
starting running back,
124 overall, and he had to be top 5.
He played
running back by
every
the end of the
game.
year, like in total score. So
Yeah, that was,
Patrick Queen, Josh Palmer, the rest are kind of fill-in guys. But yeah, that Chuba Hubbard really helped you out right there. So that gave you Kyron and Chuba, and then receivers piecemealed with a star quarterback and a star tight end.
yeah.
I mean,
that's tough.
So good draft overall on that, Hayden. Mine,
Oh, let's
like,
go
hey,
through this.
I'll still kind of defend it. Like, I don't know what I was
Yeah.
thinking on running backs, but so, top 5 picks, right? Or first 5 picks. 4 of them being receivers. Amon Ra, Debo, DJ Moore, Malik Neighbors. I mean, I was stoked about that. ETN, I knew that was a gamble, but fuck, I didn't think he'd fall off. And then my next running back was Raheem Mostert. Like, I was still dreaming about the year before, I guess, and just thinking, hey, Achan's, a twig, he's going to get hurt, at least just give me some touchdowns. That fell off. Got Dak, he would have been probably okay, but, obviously you got to play to be okay. Went for my boy Javonte again. He's been my boy since he came in the league.
You've
and
drafted
just
him
can't.
every single year.
Yeah, and he just can't, because he's a stud.
I know
he's
he
an
is.
actual
They don't give him the
stud,
ball.
but he just
Him and McLaughlin, they got to pick a
Yeah.
side.
and I don't know. I mean, Denver just wasn't a good team past couple years, and he got hurt, and he hadn't been the same. Chris Godwin, I mean, 9th round, that was a beast pick.
that was
Ended up getting hurt. You know, he was probably wide receiver 1 or 2 overall before he got hurt. Then kind of just started, you know, shot picks. Jonathan Brooks and Tyre Franklin.
I gotta defend you on the Jonathan Brooks pick, because you would have figured Chuba Hubbard wouldn't have made it through, and once Jonathan Brooks came back from the injury, he would have just taken over and been a stud.
Right.
I'd have done that same thing.
Yeah. I mean,
he didn't pan. I mean,
he
Chuba
didn't end up playing,
never came
really.
off the field.
Yeah.
Hubbard never came off the field one time.
So, I mean, I can tell you, I just took a bunch of got my badass receivers, or what I thought were badass, should have been badass, and then just, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 running backs, 7 technically after that, because I knew I was like, hey, just have one of these guys hit, and guess what? None of them hit. I don't know what the percentage is on that, but I guess it's 0 because it ain't any good.
Well, J.K. Dobbins wasn't.
Yeah, J.K. Yeah,
he
you're
wasn't
right.
bad.
He ended up
starting for you for a while.
and I picked up old CMC's backup, and he held me together for 6
Guerrero?
or 8 weeks. No, the other one, Mason.
Oh, Jordan Mason.
Yeah, I mean,
that's right.
I would have been down there with Jackson if I didn't have him.
Yeah.
Like, because he was literally my RB1 for like the first 8 to 10 weeks of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, and he was off the scrap heap. I didn't even start anybody I drafted pretty much besides JK, and that was even only after 3 or 4 weeks of you saying, "Hey, why aren't you starting this guy? He's getting 100 yards and a touchdown." And, yeah. So enough about my team. I'll try to defend it, but it just wasn't a good strategy. It didn't work out. So I'll let you take over, Chet. I'm gonna use the bathroom.
I'm going to Chet. His first round pick, Breece Hall. Kind of a struggle when your number 1 back has Aaron Rodgers as his quarterback. Number 2 pick was Puka, which is huge. I mean, good night. It felt like Stafford threw him the football every single down, like Cooper Kupp wasn't even there. Mike Evans, Mr. 1000. That's always a good pick. He has his blow-up games, but he'll also have his games of 2 catches for 17 yards, so it's one way or the other. His number 4 was DK, which, I mean, he's a number 2 receiver now, just under 1,000 yards. But, I mean, he had his games where he had 1 catch for 9 yards. He got Lamar Jackson in his first 5th pick, which is crazy because he's MVP. Alvin Kamara was okay. Was he okay for the first couple weeks? But he kind of fell off. Alvin Kamara wasn't Alvin Kamara of old because of quarterback situation, coaching situation. Ramondre Stevenson at 66. I don't even remember what Ramondre Stevenson did.
Yeah.
The Patriots are so bad. I didn't follow any of them.
He definitely fell off towards the end of the year, but he was steady. You know, he'd be a good RB2 flex play for the most part, just strictly off volume. But
right. Dalton Kincaid is tight end at 75. Not much there. Brian Thomas Jr. was really good for the first, 6 weeks. And then they decided not to throw him the football anymore. Zach Moss, Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb came back, later in the year. Not Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
And then he goes into all of his defensive guys for his next 4 picks. DeAndre Hopkins as his 16th round pick. That's actually really... You would have thought that they would have used him more in Kansas City. They did not. I don't get it. One of the best receivers at not dropping the football, and you don't throw him the football. It's a weird look. Dallas Goedert was actually a value pick at 166. Unfortunately, Hurts didn't nearly use him that much either.
Yeah. So, I mean, overall, there were a couple misses. You could see why you had a good team, Wayrock. I mean, you were one of the top in scoring, even with Breece Hall.
If Breece Hall would have been half of what Breece Hall was the year before, that team...
Evans, DK, I mean, there's your starting receivers.
No, Puka.
When Puka... Well, yeah, but I had him. Minus that, 6 weeks in the middle of the year that he was hurt, because that was a pretty long stretch. Besides that, he was good.
Dude, they threw him the ball 20 times a game. Cooper Kupp didn't even have a catch in the last playoff game.
Oh, I know.
Didn't even have a target.
But Kamara, as an RB, along with Stevenson, that held you in.
Yeah.
I mean, and once again, guys, this is just a draft, right? So, of course, you guys picked up some people, maybe made a trade here or there, but we're just going strictly off a draft. So, but, I mean, you they say you don't win the league, right, in a draft, but you can definitely lose it.
You can definitely.
And you can see that here. Like, you can see the people who lost it, whether, their fault or their own because of injuries or, someone else's, whatever. But you can definitely see the people who just had some solid names, probably had a winning record and at least made the playoffs.
Right.
So nice draft there, Chet. First year in the league, man. Good to have you in. Looking forward to playing with you again this next year, and good showing for sure.
Not bad at all. I don't even want to look at JL's team. His top 11 picks are insane. I don't understand. It pisses me off.
Yeah. Like we said, his worst pick was Devontae Adams. And that was round 3, so you can afford a round 3 miss. And even then, he had some solid games. He just wasn't the normal Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
But, I mean, when you're getting Pollard in the 9th,
Mixon.
getting Jameson Williams in the 16th. Yeah, like you said, Mixon in the 5th. I mean...
Burrow at 54. I mean, Burrow was right up there with Josh Allen and Lamar in points. They just struggled win-wise in real life. But Burrow...
Yeah. Burrow and Chase, man, that connection right there, I mean, that'll win you some weeks alone. Right, Kurt? I mean...
Chase had 49 against me and Burrow had 50, so my night was over on Thursday.
JL, you should have heard this guy. Did you talk to JL at all that week?
No.
So the Bengals played on Thursday night, right? And I think it was against the Ravens. So you had 3 guys playing.
You had Henry, Chase, and Burrow, and they dropped 120 by themselves on Thursday.
By Thursday night, it was 120 to 0.
Yeah. 120 to nothing. I was down 120 points before third.
Woo!
Jamar Chase with an 89-yard touchdown, a 77, and another one, and Henry and Burke.
It was. I felt bad, but laughed so hard at the same time.
Hey, on the second Chase 89-yard touchdown, I started laughing too because it was 89 to nothing at that point.
That's the first. I mean, I've been playing a long time with a lot of different leagues, and I've had some pretty good leads and deficits on Thursday. But 100 points. So just between those two, it was literally 100 to nothing. Just between
Chase
2 players.
49.
And then you add Henry dropping his 20, and it's like...
Literally, Chase had 49, and who's his quarterback?
Burrow
had 50.
Yeah.
Right on the dot.
Yeah.
Super cool. I mean, he didn't miss in his draft, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Tajay Spears at... his 11th.
But, I mean, he even picked that just for the Pollard, for the same backfield. Eckler came through in a couple games when you needed him.
Locke was not the best pick ever.
Yeah, Romeo Dobbs. But, I mean, you're kind of getting towards the end there. But,
they're your backups.
Yeah.
But even your defensive guys with L'Jarius Sneed and... You know who another one of his picks of the draft, Jameson Williams.
Yeah.
Was a stud this year.
Yeah.
And we didn't, the year before, he wasn't that guy.
Right.
And Gene Christmas.
154 overall, round 16.
You know how many 40-yard catches that guy had?
Yeah. And runs, too. He had a couple big runs.
Yeah, the reverses and all that.
But anyway, JL, we'll get off your nuts. Good
Yeah.
team,
Yeah.
good draft, overall solid,
10
Solid,
effing
solid.
moved the whole year. That's incredible.
Yeah.
By the way, I had 73.
And I probably had 60 or 72. I was right
Yeah.
there.
God.
Just always swapping those guys out.
Just
And
swap
JL does 10.
10.
He just runs through the league.
And it's not even close. All right.
So we'll go to the cursed. G, we talked about yours with CeeDee Lamb, round 1 pick. You can't fault that pick. That's a good pick, just with Dak going down and all that. Then Harrison, kind of the same. I mean, a little bit of a stretch. I did the same thing, same pick in the other league.
You thought they would have fed him.
Yeah, he should have. Josh Allen's out of this world, good pick. Yeah. Sam Laporta, underachieved, but you can't blame yourself on that one. Rachaad White had some good games. Montgomery was a good pick in round 6. George Pickens had some good games, round 7. DeAndre Swift and 8. I'm a hater on him, and
he did real well.
I don't know, the way he fell off in Philadelphia at the end of the year behind that O line. I was like, what's he gonna do in Chicago? And all he did was just catch a shit ton of ball screens and stuff, and just ran for touchdowns and did whatever else. So
when you don't trust your quarterback,
mm-hmm.
give it to that guy. Keenan Allen. I don't remember even what Keenan Allen did.
Nothing.
He was hurt.
Nothing. JSN probably had a couple good games for you. You had your good linebacker Chase Brown. There you go. There's another one.
Oh, that's
Chase Brown. He finished.
He was a 3-down back.
Yeah.
He didn't cede carries to anybody.
No, that was a damn good pick right there.
Yeah.
I know it was kind of a preseason toss up between him and
Zach
Moss. Yeah, right. I just want to look at his stats real quick.
Good golly, he had double digits fantasy every week.
Yeah, so 990 yards rushing and 7 touchdowns. You're like, okay, that's okay. Well, then you look and 360 receiving yards and another 4 touchdowns. So that's double-digit touchdowns with 1,250 all-purpose yards.
Yeah,
like that's gonna
play.
That's gonna play, and especially for as late as you got him in the draft. So that was a good one for sure. I forgot you had picked that one. That helped you a lot, or it could have been worse. Besides that,
You know what the pick I thought would have been better on his team was Keon Coleman. I thought Keon Coleman would be a little bit better, up with Josh Allen.
Oh,
throwing
Buffalo.
the football.
Yeah.
Just because they don't have anybody. I mean, I guess Shakir, but I mean,
I bet he'll be good this year.
Get
the rookie out of get another year with Josh Allen. He's got to throw. He's got to have an outside receiver. He drops it off to Shakir over the middle all the time. But
right.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's good and bad with that, G. You made some good late picks. CD and Marvin definitely hurt you at the top, and Laporta.
Pickens didn't do you any favors either with the
Yeah. I mean, he had some good games, but he's a head case anyway. He's so talented, but he's got to get out of his own way.
That Jackson Smith and Jigba pick wasn't as bad as people think. He had 100 catches this year.
No way.
Yeah.
Did he really?
I was looking at it because DK is getting traded next week.
Yeah.
And Jackson was the number one because DK had 66 catches. Smith and Jigba had 100 with 400 more yards.
Right.
So, DK, bye. Was it 9?
Yeah, it just went dark, kind of.
That's not good. Keep going.
Okay. So overall, G, I mean, we see where we got the curse thing, right? Good and bad with that. Go to Jameson, the other newcomer of the league. Susan B. Anthony Richardson, right? He was a big Anthony Richardson guy. So A.J. Brown started off, he started off kind of weak, but overall he was one of the most consistent receivers you could have had. I mean, close to 80 yards in a touchdown almost every week. I don't know what else you can ask for that, especially in a non-PPR. If he would have had 12 catches a week, then maybe. But standard like this, that's what you get: 80 yards a touchdown. Take it every time. Jonathan Taylor ended up being good.
He came back.
Yeah,
he came back and had some huge games. Actually, well, they gave him the ball 40 times a game. It was weird. They gave him the ball 40 times a game, but they didn't use him as a receiver ever. So it's kind of you'd want Jonathan Taylor using the passing game more than he did this year. But
I remember looking at some of the props on him. So side note
Taylor.
here, on receiving yards, and it was 5.5 receiving yards.
Right.
That was what Vegas set the prop at. So he was only getting about 4 to 8 yards a game, right, receiving, and that's just not what you want. Kenneth Walker, 3rd round pick, that one hurt you.
That hurt bad.
4th round pick, Ayuk, that one hurt you. But then you followed it up, man. You had James Cook, Mark Andrews, who was slow but ended up coming on at the end of the year. Rashid Rice was a beast until he got hurt. 7th round, that's a damn good pick right there. He was. I had him in another league. He was a beast. Jordan Love's pretty good. Then you went some defensive players. Came back with Anthony Richardson right behind Jordan Love. So you got your 1-2 at the quarterback. Wagner, Myles Garrett, Brock Bowers. Oh shit! There you go.
Brock Bowers had 110 catches.
Yeah, that was a hell of a pick right there. Round 13, number 129. Deontay Johnson, nothing. I mean, kind of getting towards the end here. At least you followed up your Kenneth Walker with your Charbonnet in round 17. That was a smart move. I mean, a little predictable, right? Kenneth Walker gets hurt, but still, you made the move. You were smart. You got it done. So, all right. Last but not least, Dustin. Hey, you walk in, friends. Start off with Bijan, right? Bijan Robinson. I mean, I had him. He's beast, good running back. Even in that terrible team, he got his touches, he's got his touchdowns. He did good. Garrett Wilson, we talked about that one. Nico, round 3, would have been a beast and was when you had him, at least.
He doesn't get hurt, man.
Kelsey kind of fell off. Murray kind of fell off. But then you came up with Connor, back to that name, round 6. He was RB1 this year. I don't know, if he was finished 6th, 7th, 10th, whatever, but he was
He was in
a
the top
solid
10 for
RB1.
sure.
Yeah. Calvin Ridley, not much. Christian Kirk, not
You went with
much.
2 Jacksonville wide receivers back to back. Which, you know what, those names, I mean,
Yeah.
you would think that they would, like I said, force feed Ridley. I mean, who wouldn't? As for Christian Kirk was actually hurt for some of the year too.
Yeah.
So
Jaden Reed. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. I was just saying that Calvin Ridley. I believe in him so much, and he did nothing.
Yeah. That year off, man. That suspension, it's something about it, man. I don't care if you're 22 or 29. That year away from football, you hardly ever come back from that.
Well, and having Trevor Lawrence as your quarterback doesn't help.
Yeah. Jaden Reed, though, that was a good 9th round pick right there. I know he kind of had an up and down year at the end, but the first half of the year he was starting on your team. I guarantee you that. Micah Parsons, Jalen Warren was a good spot starter. Jaden Daniels, there you go. So you picked
crazy.
You picked up Murray. Which probably wasn't a good pick, hindsight or not. I don't know. I'm just not a fan of the guy. Like he's all right. He'll get you some running points and he'll have a couple good games. But that Jaden Daniels, man, that was a hell of a pick. Round 13.
Your last part of the draft is what saved your whole entire team with Watt, Daniels. You could even put Goff in there when Daniels was bad.
Yeah.
But that Bucky Irving at 171 was ridiculous too. Because I'm telling you what, he was an RB1 at the end of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, him and Rashad White.
They both,
Both of
they
them.
had it figured out.
It was Jahmyr Gibbs and Montgomery all over again.
Mm-hmm.
Except for, Bucky Irving at 171 though. That he's going to be a stud for years to come.
Yeah.
Quentin Johnson was nothing to talk about. He should have been, but he wasn't good.
Yeah. So overall, you can definitely tell in the draft, like who did good, who did bad. Some of it was out of your control, some of it wasn't. It's just kind of part of it. So,
overall, another good fun year.
Yeah, it was. We had some trades this year. I think we had a couple last year too. I know we always want to trade a little bit more. Hell, in some of the other leagues I have, it's gotten so bad that people don't trade at all. And I think we had 2 trades. Maybe 3. I think we had 3 this year. So keep it up, fellas. I think it was good even trades all the way around.
There were some big trades in there too. There weren't just the whole third receiver for third receiver. There were some good ones. That's fun. That's when you start getting into the more depth of fantasy football. It's just have an open mind.
Yeah.
For your team.
So, yeah. No, I like it. I like going over the draft stuff, right? I hadn't looked at, Kurt and I were talking earlier, like, fantasy, we love it, but it's a wear and tear, right? Man, as soon as you're knocked out, I wasn't watching football for like 3 or 4 weeks after that.
I didn't even know who was playing in the playoffs in real football.
Yeah, it's just, it wears on you, especially if you're in multiple leagues and you're checking your fucking apps 5 times a day, every team.
5?
Well,
5 like every hour?
Yeah, right.
For the people that don't work.
Yeah, I was gonna say some people, I definitely felt it this year, not having the availability to check it all the time. But
excuses.
No excuse. Hey, it just I didn't.
So I'm
yeah, exactly. I'm not saying that as an excuse, but just that's why my numbers were down on checking it, not standings. But
right.
Yeah, no, it was aware. So to come back and actually look at this. Do it in March. It's a little late, but it's still a little fresh on the mind. Super Bowl's only 2 months ago, and free agent stuff coming up and draft coming up. We just got done with the combine, so we really want to try to have some more of these. And I'm gonna try to get Lauren back on here. I don't know if she's gonna play again this year. If she does, we'll bump the league up to 12 teams. I think that makes it more fun. Some people don't like it, but more competition. Then you don't have these people stacking their rosters at the end, and just makes it more fun. So try to do that and get Lauren on here. This was her idea years ago, was getting a podcast going. So definitely want to get her on here. But yeah, just looking forward to more down the road. Try not to make it another 4 or 5 months before we get on here. Maybe. When does like free agency and shit start or stop?
I don't know.
Probably for a while, right? Like May or
No,
June until like
for-
mini camps
it's
and
after
stuff.
it's after the draft.
Yeah.
So
So
trading picks and all that kind of stuff. I don't know how many people are moving around this free agency period and trades and all that other stuff. There's gonna be a lot of new people with different uniforms on.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
big names too, not just not just nobodies.
Yeah, we've already seen the Debo trade and some quarterbacks moving around, and we'll kind of see what goes on after that. But yeah, just wanted to get on here and talk some football. I mean, why not?
Are we
It's,
talking about anything of next year?
Um,
Do you
I
wanna-
mean,
do you want to talk rule change? Do you guys have any rule changes? Any
yeah. Any suggestions or anything?
anything
So
you can put out there to either make it more fun or what you think would make it more fun? Or
yeah, I mean, if you've been in this league long enough, I kind of like to change it up. Like usually it's a small rule, but I try to make a rule change every year, like one or so. We actually didn't do that this year, so I'm thinking this coming up year. There's always thrown out there 2 QB leagues, dynasty or something. But then there's the free agent budget, right? So the two I was kind of considering this year were free agent budget, right? So we all have waiver orders, we all have this and that, but what if you had like a budget of like $100 or something, right? And CMC's backup, he just got hurt, he's out for the year, or whatever. His backup's first in line. Well, it's like it's a free agency budget, so you bid on him, right? So everybody gets a shot to bid however much they think he's worth. I mean, that would be a pretty high one, so you'd bet 20, 30, $40, whatever. But you only have that certain amount to go through the whole year. So if you blow it all on that guy, that means you have 60, or say you blow half of it, you have $50 for the rest of the year. Now, with that said, like after the original waiver wires go through, then you can go pick people up for $0 and all that. Not everybody has to be $5, $10, $20. So, after the original wave of people, but it kind of makes it a little more fair. It's not, I picked up first last week, so I know it won't be first this week. And, but everybody starts with the same amount and ends with the same amount, like you have to be able to budget and,
you can't budget in real life. You want me to do it?
yeah, I know that I say
Super
that, and then
cool.
it's like, well, I'll finish last. Lauren will finish first. I'll
Yeah.
finish last. You know how that marriage works, but
Like 73 moves just turned to 7.
right, yeah.
And I didn't even get them, so that's cool.
But I thought it was a cool idea, so I want some feedback on that. The other one that I think I'm probably actually going to implement, but I want to get you guys' input into, is victory points. Don't know if you guys ever heard this, but we've all been in the scenario where week 1 you drop 170, but the guy you're going against drops 171, and everybody else in the league doesn't get 100, right? But you lose. Well, the victory point, so you still get the 1 point, 1-0 for beating your person, but the second half of that goes off a point total. So if you scored in the top 5 of that week, you automatically get a point. So you can go 2-0, you can go 0-2. If you lost and didn't score, you go 0-2, or you can go 1-1. Like you lost because you faced the best team, but you were the second best team, so you actually still get a point. So it's meant to even out that bad luck type of stuff, or the really good luck where you're scoring 90 points every week and you just happen to be playing against
Yeah.
the guy who scores 85. Like,
guy.
so you'll
I
still
was
get
playing
your point
real
for a
good
win.
defense last year for a little bit. So it's the top 6 that get that second point then?
Well, it'd be whatever half the league is. If we had 10 teams, it'd be top
Oh, yeah,
5.
6
If
or
we
top
had
5, yeah. I was
12,
thinking
it'd be
12,
top
I was thinking
6.
Lauren
Yeah,
coming back
yeah.
into it.
So I think that one's pretty cool because it doesn't mess with your draft. It doesn't mess with your free agent, but it just, like I said, it tries to even out some of those weird weeks. And if you start, with a really bad year, first 6 weeks, you're 0-12 or whatever, then you can catch up quick too, though. Like you string together a couple wins with a couple high points, and next thing you know, you're back to 500 and you're doing good. So I don't know. I listen to a lot of fantasy stuff. There's a lot of leagues that do stuff like that to kind of even that out. So I thought, why not try to bring it into ours? But once again, you guys have any suggestions? I mean, what do you think? Like, what would you be if you had ultimate control? What would your rule change be?
I'm not doing the budget, I'll tell you that much right now. I'd say 100% out on that. The victory points, I think, actually sounds, the more I think about it, the more I like it, just for the simple fact of, like JL dropping 120 on Thursday. Well, he dropped 190 that week or something stupid like that. But if, let's say I dropped 150. I'd still get a point.
Yeah.
And wouldn't be, well, there goes my week Thursday.
Right.
So I'm not watching.
Yeah, you still got something to
Sunday
kind of play for.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because you're playing for that point. So I actually the more I think about that one, that's the rule change I would do out of those two. Other than that, I love the plus 3 points, and I hate it at the same time when it goes against me. But
Oh, like the big plays.
yeah, I kind of do enjoy. 40 yards is a big chunk of yards.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Yeah.
It gives the more dynamic young players. It goes with your draft. It makes you draft different.
Yeah.
So, things like that, I love to incorporate. But as for the victory points, other than that, I wouldn't change much. Maybe half point PPR.
Right.
Just for, I guess the littler guys, those little slot guys that they kind of have to score or else they're just irrelevant.
Right.
But other than that, I wouldn't change much.
Yeah, I mean the PPR is kind of I feel like the elephant in the room, right? Like this is the only league I'm in that doesn't do that. It's been like that for a while, and honestly, that's kind of the only reason I'm keeping it that way is because every other league is PPR. So, but yeah, it does suck because I mean it's strictly just yardage and touchdowns. So you guys, your slot guys, like you said, 10 catches. Damn, okay, he did good. He
50 yards.
Yeah, 50 yards. Like you ain't starting that guy.
Yeah.
Even though he's a huge part of that offense and does all this other stuff. So. I mean that. I don't know. I'm still open to that. If you guys end up voting and want to do it, then we'll do PPR. I'm not against PPR. I like it. It's just I want to. I
just
think
don't make it out of control. I mean, the 1 point PPR is. I mean, good night in the morning. Guy gets 10 catches for 50 yards, and that's 15 points. I mean, that's a tough pill to swallow as a guy you're going against. Like, you don't really do anything.
Yeah.
They just threw him the stupid bubble screens, and all of a sudden he's got 20 points.
Right. Well.
So I would say keep it at half.
Right.
In my opinion, if we did something like that.
And that's the other thing, too, is like we already get some, 160s and 190s, like not often, but we get them, right? And if you added a half point PPR, I mean, you'd have to be getting like 150 to win, I feel like.
Yeah.
Or, there wouldn't be any of these, 120, 130 isn't a bad week. Hey, I'm okay with that. Well, not in a half point PPR. So I don't want to get scoring out of control too much, but...
If you did the 0.5 PPR, would you keep the plus 3 or plus 2?
I don't know because I like that. That's pretty unique. So I like
really
that part.
unique, and it puts a big emphasis on guys who are explosive.
Yeah,
and it's fun.
Yeah,
you get that 78-yard touchdown, and you're like, shit, that's 20 points.
Yeah,
I'm back.
Yeah, you feel like you're not really out of the game.
Or I just blew them out. Now,
now it's over.
Yeah. It adds a fun factor because you're not really out of it. Right. If you're down 25 on a Monday night by have Tyreek Hill, I mean, I'm shitting bullets over here.
Yeah.
Please don't let him get loose.
Right. And, it goes for defensive players, too. Like, one of the things I like about this league is defensive players, but do we think the scoring should be more? Should sacks be worth, 6 points or interceptions worth, 8? Because you don't... I mean, a good... the highest pick in the league this year, I'm guessing the guy probably had 6 or 7. So that's not very much. Yeah, interceptions. Yeah, I mean, so
I would put interceptions as more. Interceptions are only 2, and sacks are 4.
Is it really only 2?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, I'll look that up while you're talking. But
yeah, so sacks are at least 3 or 4. I know that because those don't happen, as often as your Ewok and have T.J. Watt and Nick Bosa. That's super cool. And then he added Neil Hunter, I think, at the end or something like that. But
yeah, sacks are worth 3, and interceptions are worth 4.
Oh, they are?
But I feel like interceptions should be worth 5, maybe. I mean, that's a big play. Like, how many cornerbacks do you have to actually get an interception?
Right. Oh, yeah, it is 3, isn't it? Or 4. Forced fumble. And I don't... What do you think about the forced fumble being 2? Because if you don't recover it and you just force it, I mean
that's still a pretty big play. No, well, I mean...
You didn't get it.
Guess if you forced it and your teammate recovers it, then that's a big play. But if you forced it and then the quarterback falls back on the ball or something, I mean it's just a sack. But so yeah, you get the 2 points on that. Yeah, I kind of see what you're saying on that.
Yeah.
You didn't in the real life game of football, you didn't really do anything.
Yeah.
He just was sacked anyway.
Yeah. Or I mean, if you force a fumble like as a linebacker or something like that and you didn't recover it, well, that doesn't. I mean, it's a nothing.
Yeah.
But you get 2 in fantasy, which is big for your defensive guys.
Yeah, well.
What was the other one that I was looking at the other day?
But I mean, and if you guys want to take away a corner and add a third linebacker, or take away the corner and add a second defensive player, or bring safeties back. I mean, what I'm getting at is just it's all open, right? Like I try to be very democratic in this, as far as like you put it up, we'll vote on it, we'll figure it out. It's not only thing I'm pretty authoritarian in is like trades and stuff, because I've been where we do the vote and people just vote against it just cause. So I will definitely be as fair as I can. But yeah, besides that, bring something up, guys. Right? Like just bring something up, and we'll talk about it, and you might come up with some other stuff I'd never heard of. I mean, there's so much shit you can do. Like there's leagues that are touchdowns only, right? The only way yards don't matter, catches don't matter. The only way you score is a touchdown, right? There's ones that get point per rush, or like a quarter 0.25 for a rushing attempt,
Really?
or you get points for like first. You get an extra point if your guy catches that ball and like it's for a first down, right? So just it mirrors real life as far as like, well, that's important. You got a first down, you get an extra point, or there's all kinds of stuff. Not saying Yahoo has that capability or whatever, and I'm just saying there's so many different like little nuances that we don't think about if we're just stuck in our own league and we just think about this, and it's the shit I just hear about and I think's cool. And some of that's a little over the top, but I'm just throwing out ideas.
If you add something, you're gonna have to take something away, though. That's the thing, because if you're not wanting scoring to get over 200 each week, which 200 is too much. I mean, that's just sometimes I want it to be a struggle to score.
Right.
You know what I mean? One play is worth 15 points, and it's a first down. Okay. My week's over already.
Right.
But I wouldn't mind having the safeties come back in on the defensive backs and just have a defensive back category instead of just being a corner. It'd be cool to have the safety.
And that's a big change, because safeties get way more tackles, right? They get more sacks and all. So I mean,
it depends. I mean, it's really hit or miss on what safety. I mean, it would almost go back to who you draft. If I'm drafting Minkah Fitzpatrick or something like that, but I mean, you never know. Those defenses that are on the field a lot. Whoever's playing for Jacksonville, he might have 27 tackles because he's on the field for 90 plays.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a little bit more strategy than just saying, okay, where's your number 6 corner, and I'll play him.
Yeah, I'm trying to look and see. So, also IR spot, right? I mean, we could always like drop a bench spot and add an IR, because we don't want the rosters to get too much bigger. But we all know how it is with the injuries.
Yeah. Are you thinking 2?
I'm throwing a suggestion out, right? I'm looking at our lineup, roster positions, and we have 2, 4, 6, 7 bench spots in IR. What if we did 6 bench spots and 2 IRRs? I mean, if you don't have anybody hurt, that doesn't help you. But if you're Doty over here, who your whole starting lineup gets hurt, then you can keep maybe an extra one of those guys. But I mean, it's kind of a wash in a way, right? It's just a little bit of how the players tagged. 3 receivers, 2 running backs, and a flex. I don't know, just coming up with stuff, just whatever. But I mean, I hope you guys enjoy this podcast overall. Like we ran an hour long, which is a little long, but hey, it's what else are you gonna do with your life? What, are you gonna like study or learn a second language or like be good at your job? No. You need to be paying attention to fantasy. All right, man. Like that's priorities.
That's what I'm saying.
Priorities. Fantasy football is life.
I'm telling you what, if you guys want to be a part of it or want to get involved with it as well, I mean, shoot, it's just our league. Yeah. So I mean, be a voice in it.
Yeah.
I mean, the worst that can happen is the commission says no.
Yeah.
That's it. So suggestions or, speaking your piece, have at it, man.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. We're just talking shit.
All right.
So I'm looking forward to another year. It's only March, but it's never too early.
No.
After the Super Bowl's over, it's the next year.
Yeah.
It's go time.
Looking forward.
So
yeah, we'll wrap it up there, guys. Hell yeah. Hope you enjoy it. Hope you want to partake in one of these one time. We can always get you on Zoom or Teams or however people do it nowadays and have you join in. Like he said, it's just our league. It's us 10 people. We're not broadcasting to anybody. We're just having fun, right? We're just having fun to be having fun and talking football, right?
So it'd be cool to have like a little weekly one, like on a Tuesday or Wednesday after the week's done, just a little recap of the week, like a 15, 20 minute
Yeah.
You know.
Keep it shorter, yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, the
Oh,
reason
yeah.
these run so long is because we haven't done one in 8 months.
Shit, we went through the whole Yahoo website, so
Yeah, true.
but I mean, just like a 15, 20 minute, just, you know, this is what happened, you know, cool stuff. If y'all have your opinions, I mean, let them fly, man.
Mm-hmm.
Let them fly. But like I said, looking forward to the next year and beating y'all again.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, fellas and maybe ladies, who knows, by the time someone listens to this, appreciate your time. And, yeah, have fun. Take it easy.